Hi, welcome to the vlog. You might know me from such programs as When Holidays Go Horribly Wrong and that's it actually. This is quality caravan vlogging. So on Facebook I said, ask me a question, serious or not, anything you want, and well, they replied in their tens. So I've got some questions here that people have asked, which I will, with pleasure, answer. This is a strange vlog, isn't it? It's like an ego the side of the planet that I ask people if, do you want to know anything about me? No, not really, you weirdo. So that's why I asked for not necessarily serious questions. And, well, I have some not very serious questions here. From Rob. Have you ever taken your caravan abroad? Now, that's taking a mick, that is. There's an ongoing joke, well, at my expense obviously, is that I think when I go to France I get a little bit excited about it and I don't stop talking about it. France and jockey wheels were two things that I've been guilty of mentioning more than I probably should. Jane asked, what's your favourite food? Good grief. I don't know. You know, through life you get asked these certain questions like what's your favourite colour, what's this, so I've kind of prepared answers. What's your favourite colour? Yellow. Oh, I just have to make sure it's not a question. No, it's not. I mean, is yellow my favourite colour? I don't know, but it's an answer, isn't it? So all my what's your favourite food would have been like chili con carne, because there's just well, chili con carne. Is it? I don't know. Why don't you ever order it when you go in a restaurant? Because well, it's all right. Favourite food? I think when I have food, and what I enjoy the most is a nice piece of steak. Now, Mandy isn't over keen on meat. She kind of used to eat chicken, but then we found during the pandemic, oh God, how long am I going to take answering these questions? This is going to be about a 4-hour vlog. Hope you're sitting comfortably. Can you subscribe and like now, because 30 minutes later you might want to unsubscribe and kill me. Yeah, during the pandemic, the chicken got really rank from, well, the large supermarkets. So we kind of stopped eating meat and went to basically fish and plant-based food. And really now that's kind of what we have. Mandy doesn't eat meat. I do eat meat, but Mandy never cooks it. No, I mean, we've found recipes that work with things like corn. You know, back in the day, corn mince, my God, was it like your worst nightmare? Or nut roast? None of that stuff really, but a lot of fish, corn cooked in various ways. We experimented with tofu, although at the moment we can't really get on with it. So what's my favourite food? Steak. So Adrian says that he caravanned as a kid and as an adult with his wife and kids. Why is it still a love-hate lifestyle? It's love-hate, what lifestyle? I think you do either love it or hate it. It's a bit like Marmite. Hey. I think it's, if you love it, then obviously you love it. And if you're an outsider from caravanning, you think it's probably the saddest thing in the world to do. I mean, why would you want to tow a shed on wheels around, get to a campsite, sit in the field for 2 weeks and then come home again, towing it back? I mean, I think for a lot of people, I think you have to be a certain type of person, because it does involve some physical activity to get there. You don't just like you have to do it all, don't you? Like, you know, when you go on holiday, you don't fly the plane, you don't build the hotel, you don't do, but when you're going caravanning, you do everything. I personally think a lot of people miss a trick with caravanning because how good it is for mental health. Now, you know, experience tells me that if you're away somewhere, like when we was on a CL recently, when you're on a CL, there's 5 other caravans, you're in a field, right? There's nothing else around, and maybe not as good with kids, maybe you want some entertainment, stuff like that, but as an adult, there's nothing better really than just sitting in the field, getting away from everything. So, you know, it is, you're right, it is a love-hate relationship, it is a love relationship, it is a love-hate lifestyle. And lastly, he says, what's my favourite sausage? Well, as I just mentioned, don't really eat meat. I mean, corn sausages, we have those. Richmond do like a plant-based sausage. I'm not trying to convert you into being a vegetarian or anything, but they do a plant-based sausage. It's got barbecue flavour in it. So, and if you cook that in a casserole, so it's after a while, about 12 years, you do think they're normal sausages. Now, I do like a normal sausage. Now, my favourite is I'll tell you now, it's a bratwurst, a chili bratwurst that I think Aldi or Lidl used to do them, but I haven't seen them for years. They were fantastic. What's the first? Oh, Derek asks, what's the first record you bought? The first record I can remember is, as a kid, two elder brothers. I missed the Beatles kind of really the first. I mean, I was born in '64, so that was, you know, the Beatles were already kind of off and running. And by the time they split up in the '70s, I was only 6, so I didn't really have first-hand experience. But my brothers were Beatles fans, and of course, you listen to that music. And from then, I was a McCartney fan growing up. So the first record I bought, well, first album I bought was Wings' Greatest Hits. Paul asks, why did you start vlogging? What made you think it was a good idea? I would add, I like most of your vlogs. Most of them. Thanks, Paul. That's very kind of you. Why did I start vlogging? I've been through this before, I think. When we started Caravan in 2006, pre-YouTube, I think, or at least pre when it was really big. So never caravaned as a kid, so you learn caravanning by just being on site, watching people, looking at what they're doing. The story I often relate, I'm sorry if you've heard this before, but we bought our first caravan from Germany. Bought it brand new from a German dealer. This is really, this is another, I could make a separate video on this, or I probably have actually if you look back in the archives. Why would you? So we went out to pick it up. Myself and my youngest daughter, who was 7 at the time, we went out there. Mandy stayed home, across on the ferry. We went to Mönchengladbach, that's right. So I remember the football team was Borussia Mönchengladbach. So I've heard of Mönchengladbach. It's not a particularly big town from memory. So found this dealer. We did it in a day. Went there. Oh yeah, here's the caravan. And this is a very long story, so I'll keep it very short. But the thing I'm getting to is when I got in the caravan, me and my daughter went. The guy shouted something as I walked through the door. I don't know if it was at me or what he said. So I walked to the back of the caravan, and what he actually said was, the stays aren't down. It was a single axle caravan, so we went to the back of the caravan, boom, bang, and it's like, oh, everyone's target. Oh my God, quality caravan vlogging that was, eh? So no damage done, fortunately. So first caravan, what was the question, sorry? Oh, why did you start vlogging? Oh yeah, sorry, why start vlogging? So what was I getting to? Yeah, so I'd been caravan for a few years before I come across the YouTube channels, and obviously it was Dan Trudgeon who I came across first. And I'm sure you won't mind me retelling this story I've told before, but he did a vlog on toilet paper, a caravan toilet paper, and why you need to use caravan toilet paper. And I was like, what the Jesus Christ is this all about? This is absolute madness. Next video. But then obviously you see Dan's, his channel is one of the most, if not the most successful caravan channels on YouTube. But I was thinking, why do you need to, they don't need to be told all this stuff. What is this YouTube thing anyway? So it piqued my interest. A few years later, I was like, you know what, how difficult can this be? I know, I'm a caravan. I've been caravanning for X amount of years. I think you'd maybe only been caravanning a year or 2 years. And it happened for a few other people as well. And these bloody upstarts, who do they think they are? They're telling me how's a caravan, and I am already an experienced caravanner. Yeah, I mean, it's not really what I thought, but you know, my thought process was, how difficult can it be to start a YouTube channel? Of course, after 3 vlogs, I found out exactly how bloody hard it is. And by the way, if you're thinking of starting up a YouTube channel, go ahead and do it, because it's hard to start with, but does get easier. So what made me think it was a good idea? Well, because I just thought I could do it better than everybody else. Well, I mean, you have a look at my sub numbers and have a look at Dan's sub numbers, and you tell me who's better at it. Okay, so Neil asks, now you're retired, what did you used to do for a living? Well, I worked in IT. The last job I had was DevOps engineer. God, that sounds dreary, doesn't it? But it's basically automating all the process of getting a software product into production. So from the developers writing it into production, it's the automating that process of tests and stuff like that. Light's gone off. Sorry, even the light got bored. So yeah, so in IT, last job I worked, my hair, I need a haircut. Last job I worked at was at the London Stock Exchange. working from home for 2 years, which was great. So Victor asked, I think who's this Victor is, he's trouble. You're trouble, Victor. I know, I'm on your case, son. Son, who am I? It might be too early yet. Give it a year. As you had loads of money before you retired. Told you it's trouble. What do you miss about not having so much money? Well, it is a bit early. I don't really know. I know what I'm going to miss about not having so much money is that I just can't buy whatever I want. Obviously within reason, I can't go out and buy a Ferrari and stuff. But just when I see something on Amazon, I'll have that. But of course, what I plan to do is see something on Amazon, tap the company and say, I've got a YouTube channel. Want to send it to me? Like that's working. Clive, what's your favourite colour Crocs? Thanks, Clive. My favourite is blue. I'm not wearing them. Trev, what happened to Motorhome Vlogger? Oh, this is Trev from Poshcat Campings. Yeah, I liked Motorhome Vlogger. Long-term viewers have know about this. So I had like an alter ego. It was my way of taking the mick out of caravanners without me actually doing it. But then I could also take the mick out of caravanners because I was taking the mick out of Motorhome Vlogger. But the vlogs didn't really go down that well. I mean, if you're talking about niche vlogging, I mean, there's a niche vlogger for you. You know what? I often think I might start again and do one, just see how the vlogs go. Then I'm probably being told to do one after that. So, I've one. I won't get very many views, and secondly, I think I run out of ideas fairly quickly. Thanks for that, Trev. Keith asks, now you're fully retired, what do you miss the most? Rework. What do I miss the most about work? I don't miss anything about work at the moment. I was working from home, so I would say the only thing I would say is all the jobs I've had, the most thing I've liked about the jobs is the people. You go, they become your mates and stuff, and you might go out for a drink and things like that. But having worked from home since the pandemic actually started, whether that was 2019, I guess, so 3 or 4 years, I don't miss anything about the actual job. So Margaret asks, how far up north are you going? I think that's our recent tour. And now that you're retired, is Mandy fed up with you yet? Yeah, I think the answer, how far north? Harrogate was about as far north as we got. And yes, Mandy is fed up with me already. Even though I said to her, why are you fed up with me? I've been working from home for 4 years. Yeah, but you used to lock yourself in the office during the day. Well, I can still do that and do this. Dave asks, have you ever thought about moving home, downsizing to a bungalow? Ooh, you read my mind. Yes, we are in the process of hopefully doing that as soon as we sell the house and find a bungalow. If we don't find a bungalow, we will be living in the... if we don't find a bungalow when we actually sell the house, we will be living in here. Expect vlogs daily. But it will be a bit like the Caravan Addies, but it will be like full-time every day. Stuart asked, how did you get into caravanning? We didn't like flying, basically, so caravanning was the next best thing. We're not keen on the hotels, so really it was the only option left. I mean, we used to go to Haven and that, and they got a bit like they're stinky cesspits, aren't they, on the whole? So having your own bed and your own facilities and that is just perfect for us. Lucio, how much do you earn on YouTube? Not enough is my short answer. Have a look through my previous ones. If you look for the jockey wheel, I tell you how much I earned from that jockey wheel vlog. That's pretty much how much I earned from the vlog. Harvey asked, if money was not a limitation, what caravan and tow car would I have? Good question. I think a caravan, I'd have to, of all the caravans I've looked in at the NEC, I think maybe the Lusso, but I'm not keen on the layout of the Lusso, so it would be tricky. Maybe caravans today might go for the elegance version of this. Tow car, I'm happy with the GLE. I think maybe I would have got a newer GLE. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll say an elegance and a GLE. So basically just a bit more upmarket than what we've currently got, a bit newer than what we've currently got. But I do like, there's loads of caravans I do like that. I like all the Buccaneers and stuff like that. And really it's a layout for us rather than what actual caravan it was, I think. Bob asks, have you been to concerts? Who was your favourite artist or band? And have you seen them more than once? He says he's his Status Quo. Can't argue with that. Good old Status Quo. So, born in the 60s. So kind of the 80s is kind of my era, I guess. So at the moment, it's like level 42. We're going to see them in October, actually, and we have seen them more than once. So I think live band at the moment, level 42 would be my favourite. Marta asks, do you think modern caravans are worth the money, both new and used? No, I don't. I think they're very overpriced, but not as overpriced as motorhomes. Motorhomes are just absolutely like, looking caravans, like where's the money gone? In fact, friends of ours, they had a hobby for 18 years, I think. And they've just, a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, bought exactly the same caravan as us. And first of all, they were like, what the hell's going on here? Why are they charged? You know, they were aware that that was how much the caravans were, but like the quality of the finish and the quality of everything in them, they're not 30 grand. It's just, it's outrageous. It really is. But we keep paying it, so they'll keep charging it. Nick asks, what do I really think of Peggy Pegs? Well, I told you what I really thought of them. I bought them. So I do like them. I think maybe they're overpriced, but they are good. Would I buy them now? Absolutely not, because being retired. But the reason I bought them is I spoke to them at NEC just as a punter, and I like the story they told. I like the look of the product, and it seemed to work really well. But I just happened to get an email from them, a newsletter. It was the guy who invented the company. It was his birthday, 30% off. So I was on there, boom. So I got some. And I do like them. And I think now, if some of them broke, I would replace them with Peggy Pegs, especially the bang in and screw out ones that I've sort of reviewed on the previous vlog. So they are good. They are good products. David asks, what's the point of caravanning? Mike, what's the airspeed and velocity of an unladen swallow? So I did ask for not serious questions. I can't answer that, unfortunately. Paul asks, what are the perceived benefits of carting around 2 aqua rolls? Other brands are available. I have no idea. I've seen people with 2 aqua rolls, and obviously you don't need to go and fill it up quite as much. But then when you do go and fill it up, you've got to do double. So I don't know. Maybe, I mean, we have 2 bottles of gas, because I always like a full one. Maybe that's what it is. So when one gas, but then water is a more freely available resource than gas. So I don't know, and I wouldn't have to. Jeremy asks, why did I choose a Mercedes to tow the caravan? Well, we've had Mercedes for we've had Mercedes for the last 2 cars now. I like them. I test drove an Audi. I didn't like it. Q5, didn't like it. It was really, with the GLC anyway, it was the size, the power, and, well, predominantly it was the shape. We have this thing, I have this thing certainly, with the rear of things, like rear of caravans. I did that vlog, remember? Oh yeah, that old classic. Rear of caravans and the rear of cars especially. Now we've got the GLE, not so keen on the rear of the GLE, but the GLC really was a perfect car. Now it got stolen, and the reason I didn't buy another one is because I thought I would be always comparing that one with my previous one. So we got, say, completely different. It's very similar, but so Mercedes, I've never owned a BMW. It's a BMW Mercedes kind of thing. I'd almost, just before I retired, I nearly did a quick switch to a Discovery, but it would mean Discoveries are actually more pricey, and I don't think they're necessarily better. I could have sold the GLE and bought a Discovery, but it would have been either the same age with about 20 or 30,000 miles more, or 2 years older. So it just made sense financially for us to just stick with the GLE, I think. Steve asks, is it just me, or has the world gone dog mad? Yes, you're right, the world has gone absolutely bonkers. Get your head in the sand and just hope it all passes. That's my advice. James asks, that's James from Caravan Escapades. Well, got any plans for the channel? What are the plans for the channel? Well, I haven't really got any plan. I don't really do plans particularly. Obviously, I plan to do more holiday vlogs. I'll briefly talk about YouTube for a second. By all means, fast forward. So I have this thing. When I first started the channel, what are you going to do? I mean, most of what seemed to be successful YouTube channels caravanning were doing how-to vlogs. I don't consider myself a particularly practical person, so there's no way I could build a channel on just doing how-tos. And in any case, there's only so many how-tos you can do, right? How to fix this, how to do that, how to do this, how to do that. Then after you've done all that, what do? Now, I can't do how-tos all the time because I don't know how to. But I think it comes down to why people subscribe to a channel. Why do people subscribe to this channel? I had no idea. I couldn't answer that. But I understand why people subscribe to, say, Dan Trudgeon's channel. He's technically very good, knows his stuff, is good at explaining things, sensible. Go there, get the information. Thank you very much. That's great. I get that. But I wanted to do more regular vlogs. I wanted to, because I enjoyed doing caravanning and I enjoy vlogging. So mixing, this is good for me. Where am I going? Was that your question? Where am I going? Plans for the channel. So yeah, so at the moment, I don't know. Was that your question? Plans for the channel? You know, I don't do plans. I don't have plans, James. I can tell you what I'm doing tomorrow, because I am doing something tomorrow with the channel, but other than that, I don't like months. I'm going to the NEC. That's another plan. And has the Channel 5 appearance affected my online profile? Let me just see, because I've been monitoring subs carefully since Channel 5. The only thing I can say is that I haven't lost any subs, so I wasn't expecting any change in subs after Channel 5, and I was right. There you go. Hey Ho Let's Tow, if you don't subscribe to them, they've got a question for me. Plans for the channel in retirement as well. So, you know, I don't know. I just I'm trying to think of things but basically what happens with me is that I'll be walking around the house and I think, oh, it's a vlog. Amanda, do you mind if I just go to Caravan for half hour, do a vlog, whatever? Actually, she doesn't say that at all. She's very supportive. So, and I do like this. Well, not this one. It was a bit planned because I asked for questions, but usually it's just what I've got going in my head, and it gets delivered to the camera. I don't have a script. I haven't got a plan. Maybe that's why I'm not at the Mr. Trudgeon and Mr. Ditton levels of. Oh, it's not just down to planning, is it? It's down to quality. I mean, they're stratospheric quality, and I'm down somewhere in the gutter. But anyway, I enjoy doing it, and I've always said I'd rather have a limited number of subscribers that are like the channel and are loyal and watch everything and agree with what I say and don't slag me off, don't have sarky comments, which I don't get many at all. So I think that's all. If you put a question in and you missed it, I apologise. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. This is quality caravan vlogging.